Michael Jordan has finally broken his silence on the NBA Finals, and his comments about Victor Wembanyama have left fans stunned.
He made a big mistake, and I will tell you why.
But that wasn't the end of it. The next part of Michael Jordan's reaction shocked even more fans. According to the story, Jordan had a powerful warning for Victor Wembanyama, one that many believe could shape the direction of his career. Stay until the end, because what happened after the NBA Finals sparked intense debate across the basketball world. After New York celebrated its championship victory, cameras appeared to show Wembanyama heading toward the locker room instead of taking part in the traditional post-game handshake line. The moment quickly went viral, with fans and analysts questioning his decision. Reports claim JalenBrunson looked for Wembanyama to exchange a handshake but couldn't find him, while only a few Spurs players remained on the floor. When reporters later asked Michael Jordan about the situation, everyone waited for his response, and what he reportedly said immediately grabbed headlines across the league.
He made a big mistake, and I will tell you why.
What made this story even bigger was that Michael Jordan rarely comments on today's NBA controversies, making his reported reaction stand out even more. Meanwhile, JalenBrunson drew praise for his sportsmanship. Instead of celebrating only with his teammates, he first walked over to Spurs head coach Mitch Johnson, shared a hug, and showed respect after the series. Later, Brunson said it was simply how he was raised to respect opponents whether you win or lose.
I hugged, said what's up to Coach Johnson from the Spurs first, just to show respect, because I guess like kind of how I was raised. I think win or loss, always got to show respect regardless of the outcome, and got a lot of respect for them over there.
At first glance, Brunson's actions looked like nothing more than great sportsmanship, but many believe there was a deeper message behind it. By publicly showing respect to the Spurs after winning the championship, the spotlight shifted directly onto Victor Wembanyama's reported decision to leave the floor early. The contrast quickly became one of the biggest talking points after the finals. During his post-game media session, Wembanyama also made comments suggesting the Spurs had controlled much of the series, despite the final result, which sparked even more debate among fans and analysts. While emotions were clearly running high, the frustration was understandable. San Antonio reportedly let multiple double-digit leads slip away throughout the series, including a historic collapse in Game 4, turning what once looked like a championship run into a heartbreaking defeat. That emotional ending only fueled the controversy surrounding the handshake discussion. According to the story, Michael Jordan believed moments like these can shape how players are viewed throughout their careers. Jordan often spoke about respecting opponents, even after painful losses, recalling how the Detroit Pistons' refusal to shake hands years ago became a defining moment in one of the NBA's greatest rivalries. In his view, handling defeat with composure can leave a lasting impression just as much as winning a championship.
Knew, because of their personality and the way that they, their rivalry against us, that they were going to pay the same respects back. But they didn't have to, because we knew that we dominated the series and we knew we were over that hump.
According to this narrative, Michael Jordan's perspective goes far beyond simple sportsmanship. The argument is that shaking your opponent's hand after a crushing loss is not a sign of weakness, but a statement of confidence. It tells your rival that one defeat will not define you and that you'll be back ready to compete again. Jordan often spoke about how respect after competition reflects mental toughness, not surrender. He also referenced how the Detroit Pistons' famous walk-off after the 1991 Eastern Conference Finals became motivation rather than discouragement. Instead of feeling disrespected, Jordan used that moment as fuel to build one of the greatest dynasties in NBA history. Many fans have compared that lesson to the recent controversy involving Victor Wembanyama, arguing that emotional reactions after difficult losses can shape public perception. Meanwhile, JalenBrunson's finals performance only added to the conversation. He reportedly delivered one of the greatest close-out performances in recent memory, leading New York with a dominant scoring display and cementing his reputation as a player who thrives under pressure. Some observers even drew comparisons between Brunson's relentless mindset and the competitive mentality that defined Jordan's career. The debate didn't end there. Reports claimed Jordan privately believed experiences like these can either strengthen or haunt a young superstar, depending on how they respond. His message was simple: every loss presents a choice. A player can let the moment define them, or they can use it as motivation to return stronger. As the story spread, other NBA personalities reportedly weighed in as well. Among them was Draymond Green, who argued that how a player carries themselves after defeat can send a powerful message to future opponents. Whether fans agree or disagree, the controversy has become one of the biggest talking points of the NBA offseason, with everyone now watching to see how Wembanyama responds the next time he faces the Knicks.
Killer in the face. Look your killer in the face. You got to look them in their face. By the way, if you leave the court and you don't look me in my face and I just beat you, I actually know that I own you forever because you couldn't even look me in the face.
He reportedly called it disheartening and questioned the Spurs' veteran leadership, saying someone should have guided the young star through defeat.
And I'll blame it on youth. I'll blame it on lacking the leader to show them that, hey, this is what you do, not walk off.
Draymond Green's reported criticism carried extra weight because he has experienced heartbreaking finals moments himself. He argued that showing weakness after a loss can give future opponents confidence. The following morning, the debate intensified as Stephen A. Smith discussed the controversy on television, supporting the idea that emotional post-game decisions can have lasting consequences. He also referenced the long-discussed fallout surrounding Isaiah Thomas and the 1992 Dream Team as an example of how reputations can endure.
Even though you might like something, it could potentially be detrimental and damaging to your reputation, which could ultimately impede and roadblock opportunities that might come your way. Isaiah Thomas would know.
Stephen A. Smith argued the league rarely forgets moments like this. However, Jay Williams pushed back, saying athletes shouldn't be expected to hide genuine emotions immediately after a heartbreaking season-ending loss.
All the time in college basketball, they didn't shake hands. They don't respect the game. Why do I need to shake your hand?
That's part of the allegation.
No, it isn't.
Kendrick Perkins defended the moment, arguing that authentic rivalry and raw emotions are part of what makes NBA competition so compelling.
We have to get back to rivalries. We have to get back to guys not liking one another. It is good and great for the game of basketball.
Perkins argued the NBA has become too soft and said raw competitive emotion is good for the game. Soon, more players joined the discussion. One player reportedly called Wembanyama's exit excessive, suggesting the Knicks viewed the moment as a sign of disrespect they would not easily forget.
I mean, I got mixed emotions, you know. I mean, I'm a competitor too, but also I stare my enemies down. You know what I'm saying? Like I look forward to not shaking. I feel like the way he did it was a little too crazy for me.
Robert Horry defended Wembanyama, saying he understood leaving the court upset because he had reacted similarly after painful losses. However, Shaquille O'Neal reportedly disagreed, arguing that franchise leaders should face defeat with composure and remain on the court to acknowledge their opponents, even after heartbreaking championship losses.
It sounds like he's, like Chuck said, like he's flustered, and you can't be flustered at this. I know you're down 0-2, but...
Whether you agree with Shaquille O'Neal, Stephen A. Smith, and MichaelJordan, or believe VictorWembanyama simply let his emotions take over after a heartbreaking defeat, one thing is certain. The debate has become much bigger than a single post-game moment. Many commentators focused on the handshake controversy, but others pointed to history, arguing that similar moments have shaped NBA rivalries for decades. The comparison most people immediately made was to the Detroit Pistons' famous walk-off in 1991 after years of dominating the Chicago Bulls with the legendary Jordan rules. The Pistons were finally swept by Michael Jordan's Bulls in the Eastern Conference Finals. Rather than staying to congratulate Chicago, several Pistons players left the court before the game officially ended. That moment became one of the most controversial scenes in NBA history. Even years later, former Pistons players, including John Sally and Isaiah Thomas, admitted they had regrets about how everything unfolded, with Thomas acknowledging that the decision continued to follow him throughout his career. Because of that history, many analysts believe any similar incident will naturally invite comparisons. The difference, according to critics, is that Detroit had already won multiple championships before their controversial exit, while Wembanyama is still at the beginning of his NBA journey. Fair or unfair, that difference has become a major talking point. Meanwhile, the rivalry between the Knicks and Spurs appeared to grow even stronger throughout the finals. The series featured physical play, emotional exchanges, and several heated moments that fueled conversation across social media and sports television. Reports claimed JalenBrunson celebrated the championship with teammates in New York while embracing the rivalry that had developed during the series, giving Knicks fans another memorable moment after ending the franchise's championship drought. Throughout the postseason, Wembanyama also produced remarkable numbers, placing himself alongside some of basketball's greatest young stars statistically. His performances reminded everyone why many already consider him one of the league's brightest talents, despite the disappointing finish. The larger question now isn't whether one emotional reaction defines an entire career. History suggests it doesn't. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Larry Bird, and many other legends all experienced painful playoff defeats early in their careers before eventually winning championships. What ultimately separated those players wasn't one difficult night, it was how they responded afterward. That's why this story continues to dominate NBA discussions. Some believe Wembanyama showed unacceptable sportsmanship, while others argue he simply reacted like a devastated competitor after falling short on the biggest stage.
Either way, every future meeting between the Knicks and Spurs will carry extra emotion because of everything that happened during this finals series.
Only time will determine whether this moment becomes a forgotten footnote or the beginning of one of the NBA's next great rivalries. For now, all eyes are on Wembanyama's response next season, because the way he answers this criticism may shape the next chapter of his already fascinating career.